Rochelle Plummer. As y'all know, I am finished my principal practicum at Prairie View A&M University. And today is our video one, and we're going to identify a problem that we have at High School Junior High. I think it's gonna work. Okay, so my site supervisor kind of have two. So of course Miss Evans, but then also I have one office name is Georgia Beckworth. And then, so the purpose is to conduct a needs assessment focused on improving ESL writing outcomes in multiple subject areas. Okay, so formalities. So first we'll go around, we don't have to show them, but just everybody kind of go around and you tell about your experience. We'll tell your name and then how long you've been experiencing. So for instance, I'm Mrs. Plummer. This is about my sixth official year in education, but I've probably been in about 10 years now. So I have ESL cert, I have general ed cert, and I've worked in three areas. Also I have a SPED cert. And so most of my area have been in SPED, it has been in ESL, and then math and science is kind of my sweet spot.
Bruce Sarge, this is my fourth year in education. Science, have experience with SPED population, ESL population, Gen Ed.
And he's science. Oh.
Science, yeah.
I'm Miss Allison. I am currently an Algebra 1 teacher. I am Math and Science 4 through 8 certified, Math 4 through 8 certified, EL certified, and GT certified, and I've worked with pretty much everybody.
Okay.
My name's Nathan Bennett. I work in special education. This is my 5th year teaching, 3rd year with this particular student population. My background is special education, K through 12, with ESL certification and GT certifications. I live and breathe this stuff. I've worked in all core four subjects. Excited to see how we can best serve our kids.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Tarin Kanik. This is my 8th year of teaching, and pretty much started out in elementary. I've worked with all core subjects, and then middle school, 4 years of 6th grade ELA, and then also ESL with that. And now I'm an ESL support / co-teacher.
Okay. So we had introductions. Now we are going to establish some group norms. So one thing I would say is that we disagree with opinions and not people, right? We know we're talking. We may say things that other people don't agree. We won't disagree with the person. We're just gonna disagree with the opinion. Anybody else? I think we should establish 3 to 5, so that'd be number 1.
I think it's important to establish it anytime you have a special interest group like this too. Normally just present and accountable group talk.
Okay.
That every voice hopefully has something to add. Everybody comes with a wildly varied background.
Correct.
We're all coming from different spaces, but we all have one common goal in mind, which is to help our kids succeed academically and further in life as they transition from children into young adults. So I feel it's important that everybody brings something to the table, because everybody has something to bring to the table.
I do agree. Okay, can we get one more?
I don't know if it kind of ties in with that, but participation is a responsibility.
Yeah, I do agree. We should all, we have a voice, but let's make sure we're using it, because even though this is for this video, this is a problem that we are seeing in real time, and that we do want to make sure that we are addressing. And like I said, we all have a wide variety, and we all are experienced teachers, and so all of our opinions are very valuable. Okay, so now, let me see, I'll read our norms out. Thank you, Miss Allison. Okay, so our first norm is disagree with opinions, not people. Our second norm is present, accountable group talk. And then our third norm is participation is our responsibility. Do everybody agree?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay, so let's keep going. So district and campus focus. So our district priority is moving our kids from, well, my kids at the window, y'all. It should say advanced high, but it's intermediate to advanced. So Haskell Junior High mirrors other statewide challenges in writing proficiencies. So our focus area is going to be writing. All right, so this is just a little bit of background and demographics from the 2023-24 TAPER report. So right now we have about 1,359 students now. That number I think it's changed. I think now we're closer to like 1,500, but I just wanted to be accurate from the TAPER report. So grade 6, so we have about 424 students, so 31.2%. Grade 7, we have 444, about 32.7%. And grade 8, we have 491 students, and that's about 36.1%. So our race and ethnicity, as y'all can see, our Hispanic population is about 42.2%. African American, 29.9%. Our white students are about 15.9 students. Asian, 6.5. 2 or more, 5.2%. American Indian, 0.2%. Pacific Islander, about 0.1%. But I think those numbers are a little bit higher because I know some students. Okay, so break it down by female and male. So female, we have about 49.5%, and male, we have about 50.5%. And economically disadvantaged, we have about 59.2%. At risk, we have about 47.4%. English language learners, this number is rather high compared to your typical campus. Even though we are a large campus, these numbers are high. So Haskell is ESL heavy, EB heavy. We have about 21.4%. And our special education, 16.3%. And then our section 504 is about 3.7%. And I think I have on the next slide about our overlapping, our duly served students. So our students that are served in special education, but they also are in ESL. I think I do have those numbers for the next slide. I think I do. Any questions about our numbers? Anything you see? Okay. So, Haskell Junior High faculty and staff demographics. So the reason that I'm going to talk about this is so you know, sometimes our deficits, our students have troubles, of course, because they're EB learners, they're ESL students, but sometimes that we don't have experienced teachers, right? We don't have teachers that they don't have the training and the tools to help our students. But at Haskell, that is not a problem, and let me explain. So staff about 102.5%, and I know the 0.5 comes from we do have like some of our staff that like are half a day, so they're considered like half. Teachers 82.9, so that's 73.7%. Professional support 9.5, and that's about 8.4%. Campus administrator, we have 9 administrators on campus, 8.8%. Educational aides, 11.2%, 11.2, and then that's about 9.9%. Teachers by sex, so female 71.1%, male 28.9%. Teachers by ethnicities, our white teachers 47.3%, African Americans 28.7%, Hispanic 21.7%, Asian 1.2%, and others less than 1%. So our average teaching experience is about 6.8%. So that means that our principals and our administration, they're hiring experienced teachers, okay? Which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, like we do value our new teachers, but we know that with new teachers, they have their own struggles, right? And so everybody here, I wanted to make sure that I was talking to my experienced teachers, because most of us, like I know your team lead or department chair, both. Okay, your department chair, and then I know like the rest of us, like I know even though y'all are not like official team leads, I believe we all kind of help like in the background, you know, take on this leadership role, because I see you all the time, Mr. Bennett, and I definitely see you over there planning. And Taryn, of course, you're planning with everybody, so you're kind of taking on that role of like lead social studies EB teacher. So we do have experienced teachers here at Haskell. Do we have any questions about our data? Okay. All right, district type. So KDIZ is classified as suburban, which I honestly thought that we were more urban. Guess not. So we're located in the Houston metropolitan area, and we serve over 90,000 students across very diverse communities. This is probably probably one of the diverse districts that I've ever worked in. I've ever seen. Like, we have so many languages that are spoken here. When I got here, one of my students, well, a few of them, I've never heard of their language. And I consider myself to be culturally competent, but I was like, oh, okay, well, I gotta, do some learning about that. Any questions here?
Okay.
Okay, so who's in the room? Well, we already did that. That's our purpose. So conduct the needs assessment, focus on improving ESL writing outcomes and moving students from advanced to advanced high on TELPAS. Okay, so statewide, so let's talk about a little bit about TELPAS data and writing. So beginning, that's our beginning students. We have about 6%, and this is for Texas. Intermediate is about 36%, advanced is about 44%, and advanced high is about 14%. So just look at the data for a little bit and just tell me, like, what do you see? Like, what is something that jumps out to you?
Most of the population is in the middle, right, with that intermediate and advanced.
Correct.
The amount of kids that are on what I would consider a monitor-only situation by our ESL department is lower than, I guess, lower statewide than I expected. I would assume that most follow the, advanced high behavior students that are mostly on monitor, not receiving what I would consider to be like direct services. They're not taking the TELPAS every single year back to back to back. I kind of expected that number to be a little bit higher statewide. But it does follow what I consider to be a pretty standard bell curve. Slightly heavier towards the right side of the bell curve with our advanced and advanced high populations.
And what we want is, we want this number to increase. And I know when you think like, oh, they're advanced, like they'll be fine. So I'm gonna show you the difference between advanced and advanced high. And you'll be like, oh, okay. And like you said, most of our kids that are monitored, they're intermediate and advanced. And now we're working to change that, right? Because we know that monitoring should really be here. It shouldn't be here. These students should still be receiving some kind of direct support,
So it's almost kind of like your intermediate and advanced kids. Those are the kids you have them do a written response, and they're gonna get their point across, but you might be missing some academic language, some maybe broken sentences, some improper grammar here and there. But overall, you can tell what they're trying to say, and we're trying to move it to where confident academic language use, all of that type of stuff, to that advanced high.
Correct. And it's okay, y'all, in 6th grade. 7th grade, okay. But in 8th grade, the reality is when you get to high school, how many teachers you think a high school kids, how many kids do you think a high school teacher will see a day?
200?
Okay, especially here in our Katy population, because everybody's busting out the seams, honestly, and I don't think they're gonna build another high school for a few years. So can you imagine you have intermediate or advanced, because this is where most of our kids are, right? They go over there. How is it possible? How is it humanly possible for her or him to truly support that child directly as we're doing? So like you said, it's broken sentences, it's broken this, but if I can't like sit with you to truly understand what you're saying, how am I really gonna know you? I'm just gonna be grading, right? And so what's gonna happen? Like they're gonna fall behind. They're not gonna get their credits. And then before you know, we have situations to where what we see statewide, our graduation rate for our EB students, they're low. And that's because once they leave 8th grade, y'all, the chances of them advancing, the numbers get significantly low. And this is just our state numbers. We're actually gonna go into Haskell in a little bit, but I just want y'all to like understand why I'm pushing the issue of like our kids have to learn to write. Like, yeah, you may be able to get your point across, but I need to know if you go to high school and you have this chemistry teacher, can she understand what you were trying to communicate with her? Yes, you will still have your resources, but the idea is that the older they get, and then y'all know this, they have to become more independent. They cannot continuously to lean on their supports. It is just not possible. Okay. comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, so again, this is our statewide data. This is just a bar graph to kind of show you just kind of where we are, proficiency levels, beginning, intermediate, advanced, high, and why we want to shift this that way. Okay. Okay, so campus snapshot. So we have about 215 emerging bilingual students, and actually, I know that number is now 324. We have 324 students, EB students. Not directly in ESL, but just across this entire building. And I know that just because I had to pull that data, but just for reference, because it came from the TAPER report, I just want to be factual because I cited the TAPER report. But this number is about 324.
So a third of our kids.
Correct, and that's a large number. Back to the dually served, so I know I put it in here. So we have 27% of these kids dually served between ESL and SPED. So not only do they have challenges at accessing the language, they also have another barrier of even jump in here, if you will,
Absolutely.
of even accessing
The material.
yeah, the material.
Content.
Yeah, the content.
Students that if you gave them the challenge to write a paragraph, write maybe half a page regarding something that is important to them, and they can do it in their native language, they might still struggle because they have a specific learning disability in written expression. So for our students, it can feel like the deck's stacked very heavily against them, and it's even more so for our dual served population. They have a lot of challenges maybe to, we wanna help support them, wanna help them grow that independence, especially as we move into high school, because we don't want those kids to fall through the cracks.
Correct.
It's very hard to make up for learning loss once we get up into those high school areas, especially for our dual served population.
Thank you for that. So currently, 90% currently at advanced, and a small percentage at advanced high. This is just HASCA data. So our key accountability measure is TOPAS, right? That's how we see how our EB students are truly doing. Our TOPAS data. Okay. So why move from advanced to advanced high? So stronger communication. At the advanced level, students can express ideas more clearly and confident in speaking and writing. Academic success. Advanced high skills allow students to fully participate in grade level reading, writing, and discussions without needing as much support. So college and career readiness. Moving to advanced high means students are better prepared for higher education and future jobs where strong English. And if we just be honest, there are jobs that would discriminate against them because they can't speak fluent English. I know now for the CDL test, right? They can know how to drive an 18-wheeler from the front to the back, know all the things about the pre-check and the preloads and all those great things. But if they cannot pass a written test in English, they will not have a CDL. So even for our trade, so let's say they decide they don't want to go to college, that's okay. But even for our trades, this is why I'm so passionate about, come on man, we gotta get you to write, we gotta get you speaking, okay? And independence, like I said earlier, at advanced high, students can work more independently, needing less from teachers or translators, which builds confidence, right? If they don't, and a lot of times our kids, they won't ask for help because they don't want you crying over them. You know, so we want them to have that confidence in their abilities and their opportunities. So the stronger their English skills, the more doors open, like honors classes, extracurricular activities, scholarships, internships. And this is so true. Even this year, one of my students, she was just bawling. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong with her? She wanted to try out for tennis, but she didn't know how to tell them that she wanted to be a part of the tennis team. So then I'm like, okay, this is, like, I had to walk her through the steps. She's in 7th grade, but as an 8th grader, I need you to know how to advocate for yourself, honey. Even that means you use your little translator. I need you to be able to speak or even be able to write just something simple as I want to try for tennis. And they honestly, it was just a language barrier. You know, they didn't know what she was saying. They didn't understand. And I'm like, yeah, she just wants to try out for tennis. Okay,